You have heard these exact words in your dead religious buildings your entire earthly life. Abide in me, and I in you. The modern church has completely brainwashed you to believe that this is a pathetic human command. They tell you that you must work exhaustingly hard to achieve a spiritual union with a distant creator in the sky. That is an absolute demonic deception, and it is the exact reason your physical life is a terrifying struggle. Joel Goldsmith discovered the blinding mystical truth that the religious establishment absolutely refuses to teach. Abide in me is not a desperate spiritual task for your human to-do list. It is the absolute violent declaration of your present reality. You are not a separate, miserable mortal trying to desperately reach God. You are already the exact physical expression of the infinite divine life. The branch does not have to beg to connect to the vine. There is absolutely no separation, and there never was. Today we are going to completely annihilate your exhausting religious illusion of separation. We are going to completely destroy the lie that you are unworthy, and we are going to violently awaken the unshakable kingdom of God that is already operating inside your flesh right this very second. Look at the absolute tragedy of your pathetic religious seeking. You sit in your dead buildings, and you desperately beg a distant deity in the sky to fix your miserable physical existence. You loudly pray for a spiritual connection as if you are completely disconnected from the infinite Creator. You work exhaustingly hard to become worthy of divine blessings as if you are currently a terrifying, unworthy sinner. This is the exact definition of spiritual ignorance, and it is reinforcing the very illusion that causes all of your human suffering. Joel Goldsmith called this the greatest demonic mistake of the entire human race. You are operating from a massive dualistic consciousness. You falsely believe there is a separate you and there is a separate God. That is an absolute lie from your carnal ego. The infinite intelligence is not a separate entity waiting to be convinced by your pathetic human tears. The divine presence is the exact unshakable essence of your physical existence. You do not beg it for earthly miracles. You completely recognize it as your very own life right this exact second. You must absolutely execute the exact unyielding practice that Joel Goldsmith called abiding. Every single morning before your physical feet hit the floor and before you check your demonic worldly phone, you must sit in the absolute blinding stillness for 15 minutes. You completely close your physical eyes and you do not open your human mouth to beg for a single earthly thing. You do not desperately try to achieve a spiritual union with the heavens. You simply make the absolute violent recognition that you are already in the Father, and the Father is already in you. The unshakable kingdom of God is completely operating inside your physical flesh, right this very second. When the terrifying thoughts of your unpaid bills and your collapsing physical health try to invade your stillness, you do not fight them with your pathetic human intellect. You completely ignore the temporary physical illusion, and you violently drag your consciousness back to the absolute presence of the infinite vine. You are completely prioritizing the eternal reality over your exhausting material panic. Look at the terrifying religious reality of a priest named David. He spent 25 years preaching about a distant God and performing dead rituals, but his carnal soul was completely empty. He suffered a massive crisis of faith until he finally executed the absolute, unyielding practice of abiding. He stopped his pathetic religious performance and he violently recognized his exact union with the infinite Creator. His entire dead ministry was completely resurrected by the eternal presence. Now look at the devastating physical diagnosis of a woman named Maria, who was told her body was completely collapsing from a terminal disease. She did not beg the heavens for a physical miracle. She completely refused to treat the dead physical condition. She sat in the blinding stillness, and she recognized the perfect divine life operating inside her human flesh. The physical healing was not a medical miracle, but the exact violent manifestation of her undivided consciousness. Look at the exhausting worldly success of a massive corporate executive named James. He built a massive physical empire with his arrogant human willpower, but his carnal mind suffered a terrifying breakdown. He completely surrendered his demonic need to control the physical outcomes, and he rested entirely in the infinite wisdom. He returned to his earthly empire, and he led from the unshakable kingdom within. The physical success multiplied without a single ounce of his exhausting human effort. You must violently force this absolute spiritual authority into every single breath of your chaotic daily existence. You do not just visit the infinite vine for 15 minutes in the morning and then live the rest of your pathetic day in complete human panic. You must make the eternal kingdom the absolute background radiation of your entire earthly life. You completely stop compartmentalizing your spiritual existence. As you move through the dead physical world, you violently recognize that the infinite intelligence is guiding your every single step. Look at the terrifying demonic illusion of your broken human relationships. When a toxic person stands in front of you and spits their worldly venom, your carnal ego violently demands that you fight their pathetic personality. You must completely annihilate this demonic reaction today. You completely look past their temporary physical behavior, and you recognize the exact same divine presence operating inside their human flesh. You absolutely refuse to react to their dead physical appearance. You stand in your unyielding spiritual authority, and you let the infinite vine completely govern the chaotic earthly interaction. Your absolute recognition of the divine truth will violently crush the physical illusion of conflict. Your demonic carnal mind will scream when your physical circumstances do not instantly change. You must violently crush your human impatience. You are rewiring decades of pathetic religious seeking. The internal recognition of the infinite intelligence absolutely precedes your external physical miracles. You must execute this supreme practice, whether your physical eyes see the earthly results or not. Look at the terrifying religious guilt trying to destroy your unshakable authority. Your dead religious conditioning will scream that 15 minutes is absolutely not enough and that you must perform more exhausting rituals. You must absolutely annihilate this demonic deception. One single minute of absolute blinding recognition completely obliterates thousands of hours of dead religious performance. When your blind, worldly friends and your carnal family members mock your unshakable spiritual supremacy, you absolutely refuse to defend the infinite truth. You do not argue with their dead physical intellect. You violently stand in the blinding light of the kingdom within, and you let your explosive earthly results completely crush their pathetic human skepticism. The absolute ultimate test of your spiritual supremacy is a devastating physical crisis. When your entire earthly world collapses and your massive human fears violently materialize, you do not surrender to the demonic panic. You violently turn inward, and you absolutely recognize the unshakable vine. The physical crisis will completely pass, but your explosive divine consciousness will reign forever. Look at the massive, terrifying, demonic illusion of your financial poverty. Physical money triggers the absolute most primal carnal fear inside your pathetic human ego. When the dead physical bills arrive, your entire spiritual practice is completely crushed by the worldly panic. You falsely believe that dead paper currency and earthly bank accounts are your absolute source of human survival. You must violently destroy this demonic material deception right this very second. Joel Goldsmith completely annihilated this financial lie. Physical money is absolutely not your true supply. The infinite divine consciousness is the absolute unshakable source of your physical existence. Money is simply one tiny earthly form that the eternal kingdom takes. When the terrifying financial crisis hits you, do not desperately calculate your physical doom. You completely stop seeking your security in dead earthly numbers. You violently pause before you open your chaotic bank accounts, and you absolutely recognize the infinite intelligence already providing your every single physical need. Your physical business might collapse, and your earthly debts might mount, but the eternal vine will violently open massive, unexpected channels of supreme physical abundance. We have reached the absolute ultimate culmination of your spiritual supremacy. You must violently face the most terrifying human illusion of all, and you must completely annihilate the physical fear of earthly death. You are absolutely not a pathetic, decaying physical body that will eventually cease to exist. You are the eternal, deathless consciousness, temporarily expressing itself inside human flesh. When your physical form finally dissolves, the infinite vine remains completely unbroken. You must absolutely execute this supreme authority right this exact second. You do not exhaust your human flesh trying to force a physical miracle. The infinite vine produces the earthly fruit entirely on its own. Your exact physical health and your massive earthly abundance will violently manifest when you completely stop blocking the divine flow with your carnal ego. You are completely finished, waiting for a future religious salvation. The unshakable kingdom of God is absolutely operating right now. You must violently awaken to your true identity tomorrow morning. You completely stop begging the heavens, and you violently rest in the blinding awareness that you are already in the infinite Creator, and the infinite Creator is already in you. The absolute transformation of your entire earthly existence begins right this very moment.